Hey everyone, Half Dude here. So, thought maybe I'd do a little, not really quite a tutorial, but more just, well, teaching through showing, I guess you could say. Not really going to explain what I'm doing, I'll just kind of let you see the process, and I'll kind of tell you what I'm doing. But, yeah, if any of you guys want to know kind of how I draw my anthro cars, you know, the kind of process I go through, and found my still image tutorial a little hard to understand, thought maybe this would help you guys out. Let me know what you think. If you guys like this, maybe I can keep up doing this little tutorial series. Anyway, it's mostly for the people up on FA, so I know I won't hold back on maybe being a little pervacious. So I figured maybe I'd start out with everyone's favorite little character, Cindy, the Miata. Oh yes, we all love Cindy, don't we? So, I have just gone into this blindly, so I have no idea what to do. So I'm just going to think of a pose, kind of a cutesy little pose offhand. I guess we'll start off with the little stick figure just to get an idea. So, I think I may have her back arched. Maybe, I don't know, she's always seemed very active to me. Very active and bouncy. In more than one way. So I'm thinking maybe, let's see, maybe having her head kind of back or to the side, staring at the camera, and oh, why not? Why don't we just do the classic cutesy pose? One foot raised, one standing straight, and should we do the even more classic? Have her clamp, her hands clasped. Sure, why not? So we'll do the classic cutesy pose. Alright, so here's how I start out. It always helps to start out with a skeleton. And with a car face, when I'm starting out very basic, I'll just start with an oval. You know, start with a human head. You usually start with an oval and then a circle above. That kind of gives you the shape of a skull. Well, normally, since the head's going to be tilted, kind of give myself a little guideline and then do a rough little oval. Especially for Cindy, her face actually is oval, roughly. And I need to pull my desk out a little further. There we go. And this will just be rough. This isn't going to be like any masterpiece drawing. It'll be a masterpiece of shit. And let's see, she's going to be facing this way, so I guess we'll off-center her face a little bit. And just to kind of get the body motion down, I usually draw a backbone. There you go. Now remember, these anthro cars, their bodies are very Z-shaped, so the face is always kind of going to be hanging in front of the body. So the body's always going to be offsetted a bit, rather than directly on top like it would be with a human. So just start with a little square, or I guess rectangle, as a guideline. About that size. And the interesting thing about the anthro cars, of course, is in most cases the shoulders are actually attached to the head rather than the body. And well, they're mostly kind of intermediary between the two, but I usually use the head as the joint for the shoulders. And of course the hips are in the lower body. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some rough legs. And we'll draw little feet just as a placeholder, even though she doesn't have feet. Very adorable. And of course, with Cindy's large, voluptuous boobies, this pose is going to be even more of a challenge because we're going to have some squishing. Though I'm sure, I'm sure none of you are actually complaining. And of course, just do circles, and actually they're a bit bigger on her than that. And to save us some trouble, and to actually increase the hotness, because I've actually found that being clothed sometimes makes a character even hotter than if they were nude, I'm going to actually put her in a cute little dress. That'll be nice. Especially with Cindy, she loves to be, you know, she's a typical girl. She loves to accessorize and wear all cutesy clothes, including dresses and stuff, so fits in her character. Do some rough eyes. Obviously, you probably noticed I usually draw eyes closer together than they really are on the car. Usually because I draw them bigger than they really are on the car. And just draw kind of a placeholder mouth. And let's see. Go ahead and just draw the basic details of the arm. The upper part of the hydraulic. I gotta say, I like the extra details I designed for the arms. It really helps in posing them. Having the little rubber kind of sheaths around the joints and stuff kind of lets you do some more advanced movements with the arms without making them look weird. And her boobies are going to be extremely squished by those arms being there. That's going to be quite interesting. But of course, having the clothes on, it's going to make it a little easier to draw. And let's see. I guess we can have maybe one tire at some semi-angle. Just have the other one laying on top of it. Can't really do a clasp with tire hands, but just, you know, best estimates. Maybe something kind of like that, maybe. Oh, and why not? Let's go ahead and put a impossibly large flower in her hair, because her hair, just because she loves that type stuff. Aw, adorable. And little legs. Do the little foot joint. And let's see, what do I want to do for that? Perhaps something like that. So you follow the actual angle of the foot, but you just make it a tire in most cases. Of course, with this foot, it's going to be a little more interesting. I think we'll have to resize this. Just to give me a... Oh, okay, now I guess I won't. I was zoomed in and I didn't know. Let's go ahead and maybe do have a squished tire. Okay, something like that maybe. And just to make sure we don't give ourselves too much work, let's go ahead and do a little outline of the dress. I kind of had an idea ahead of time what I wanted. Kind of just do a waist area, of a little outline, so you know where it's going to be. It's going to be low cut, of course. The strap's going up like that. I don't know, kind of looks almost looks like a Mexican like flamingo dancer or something. Alright, so once you have that done, you can start struggling with the details to see how long it takes before I run into any problems. Usually like to start with the face first. So I'll go ahead and start with Cindy's adorable little face. And let me make my pianist slightly smaller. There we go. Alright. Again, let's do this kind of quick. I don't make you guys sit here and watch me draw in real time, because that would take quite a while. Yes, it will make the drawing a little less attractive, but that's not the only reason I ever draw Cindy. I sure you can hear, but it's raining outside. It's been raining all the time lately. If you ever want to add extra cuteness to your eyes on your characters, I always add a gleam in the corner. It really makes them look extra adorable for whatever reason. And since she's smiling and her mouth is lifted up on this side, go ahead and add a little cheek flare. And she has the special flip-up headlights, eyeballs, and the tops of them kind of act as eyebrows in a way. Cindy's usually, or not usually, but she can be kind of difficult to draw sometimes just because her face is very different than the typical car, just with having the flip-up headlight eyes. It'd be hard to get them looking right sometimes. Normally this step would be taking a long time, so I try to make all the lines look neat. And to add a little extra interesting line work, I usually try to make the eyebrows not look identical. Maybe have one cocked a little higher than the other or something like that. Let's see if I can do it here. Again, her eyes are kind of difficult. Something like that. Just kind of gives a little natural looking non-uniformity. Okay. I always incorporate her little turn signals into her cheeks, so I make them all raised with the smile of her cheeks. Let me do that. Sometimes I add the lip thing in the middle there, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how much detail I want to go on to with the lips. I never really find adding the real puffy lips to an adorable character usually works very well. They kind of only work if you're making a really sensual, kind of seductive character. But I've always considered, despite her voluptuousness, I've always found Cindi to be more of a cute character. You know, she's unintentionally hot. That's kind of her character. Alright, looking good so far. And I've drawn the Miata enough times to know that they've kind of got a little bump there before it goes up. Alright. Now, what I was saying about lips, I won't really do the full puffy lips, but I'll almost always add a bottom lip. And it's not a lot, just where the bottom lip would be, just kind of add kind of a bump like that. Something like that. Actually, there she looks, with her eyebrow like that, she almost looks a little too cocky. And honestly, she's never very cocky. She's more adorable and kind of maybe even a little nervous. So instead, let's upturn it a little bit. Something like that, maybe. I don't know, you gotta toy around with it. I'm not even sure if that looks any better. That still kind of looks a little cocky, but maybe not really. Nah, she kind of looks like maybe she's saying, like, I look okay, right? She's wanting your approval or something. And then, alright, so here's where it takes a little three-dimensional thinking. So her body is going this way, but her head is tilted up this way. So when you're thinking about the wheel well, it's going to be starting up going this angle, but it's going to end up being going this angle. So you have to kind of think of it goes like this. It's bent. But also you incorporate in the fact that from an angle, a frontal angle, you have the what do you call Fender Flare. So it doesn't actually go like that. It actually goes out at an angle. Like that. So you gotta incorporate that as well. So we'll start out with the fender, make it go out at a 45-degree angle because of the Fender Flare, and make it go down something like that. She doesn't have really huge Fender Flares, but almost every car does. So, and we can cover up this part with the flower. And I'll just make it a generic flower. I don't know, something like... These are never intended to be real flowers. These are kind of like... I always imagine that they're car accessories, and that they're actually like plastic or something with like a big magnet. It's kind of like a fridge magnet, and they just kind of pop on the side of her head. She's too big to have a real flower on her, obviously. Alright, we'll go down, and we gotta think about the boobies now. Or at least we're getting close to that. Let's go ahead and start on the arm there. We got the first part, the kind of area where the arm can rotate, and then you got the ball joint. I always like to show it that it's a ball joint by adding the little seam in the middle. Like almost where they could open it up to do maintenance or something. And then the actual arm, upper arm. And I don't know why, but I always add a line. It kind of helps to show the roundness of it, but kind of makes it look more like a shock as well, which is what it's kind of replacing. And then the kind of elbow rubber sheath covering bit. Lower arm, which sometimes I do give kind of an arm shape. I kind of make it bulge out down here. And we'll just do a press here. This arm is heading towards us, so we're going to up angle things. Something like that. Might even bring this arm in a little bit. It's a little too much forward on her face. Let's go ahead and do that. Drawing blind. Something like that. Looks a little better. I think it probably is going to work out better to draw her arms first and then kind of squish the boobies around them rather than try to draw the boobies first. I don't know, it just seems like it might make more sense, might make it a little easier. Alright. Now let's see. Add the inner wheel wells. Okay. So let's kind of start with just basic booby shape. Kind of get the bottoms of them in there. Kind of maybe add some folds just to show where the clothes are. Kind of give a better... Let's just give a better example of what we're doing. And clothes folds are difficult. Push down because her arm's pushing down on it. Maybe have it a little, because they kind of push together a little bit. Not a whole lot. Something like that, I guess. Let's see. Some things like this you gotta just draw it out. If it doesn't look right, you gotta erase certain parts and just kind of mold it almost like clay. And of course, draw the upper cleavage. She is sporting some major cleavage in this outfit. Of course, having her arms pushed over him kind of helps too. There you have it. I don't know about you, but it's something I always love, is a upper bulge, where the clothes are actually cutting into the boob and makes it bulge over the top. Something like that. And then you can show the roundness by adding the little undercarriage lines, which this one is going to pretty much be facing us, so I think it's going to be pretty much straight, if I'm thinking correctly. And this one you can't really see, but it'll be something around there. Something like that. There we go. And I don't know, we probably don't need the sagginess there. Let's make it go straight across. And let's see. Could maybe add a little definition, maybe a little bulging over her arm there. See how that looks. Not sure if I like that. That's probably exaggerating, but might just be good enough just to add a little thing like that, maybe. Alright. And now it's going to be easy wherever there's clothes. So, because you can pretty much skimp on all the details. As long as you're good with folds, like, you know, folds of clothes, then you're okay. I'm not even good with dresses, so that's kind of my problem. The rocker panels there, have a little bit of her body going up there. And right here we'll draw the strap of the dress. Actually going to be cutting off a little of the details here. Going over her shoulder. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, I wish I was better at drawing outfits. Usually before I draw something in an outfit, I'll look for, you know, outfit references. Just because I know I'm not any good fashion designer. Something like that. And just draw some basic tires. They're a little thin, but oh well. It's just an example. If you don't want to add treads, you can always add some lines on the corners. Kind of gives you depth and shows that it's round. Something like that. Alright. And then here's where it's always a little difficult, is trying to decide how folds are for legs underneath the dress. I know there's going to be a fold here because her leg is pushing forward in the dress. A little thing between the legs. And the bottom of the dress is going to be brought up by this leg, and then a fold where it tushes, something like that. I don't know, it's always kind of difficult, especially if the dress has frill, kind of a frilly thing on the bottom like that one does. Alright, that looks good enough. Draw the brake cable. The brake system right there. Always like to be mechanically accurate where I can be. You see how much work clothes, you know, save you? Because I don't even have to draw this leg or anything. That's why it's good to always mark where your clothes are going to be, or else sometimes you'll draw a bunch of stuff that you end up erasing because it's not visible. I'll add some flowers to it. She loves flowers. Kind of help make it look more dress-like if it has a pattern on it. And just have her little cute little toesies down here. If they're standing on their feet really like with a lot of force, I'll usually squish the bottom of the tire out, kind of like you know, kind of like a cartoon. Like here, I'll do a little stop motion, like if a tire is falling. Whenever something contacts the ground real quick, it'll squish, kind of like going brown or brown, and then it'll straighten back out. But since she's kind of, you can imagine maybe she's hopping onto that foot, it's kind of squishing out. You might wonder, why is her hubcap on the inside? It should be on this side, if we're looking at it right. But that doesn't really matter, because their wrists on these joints here can turn all the way around. So the tire can be on this side of the arm or this side. Doesn't really matter. They're articulate. And just draw the ground, just to show where the ground is. And why not draw some hearts? Because she loves everyone. Because she's a little darling. And has no idea that everyone ogles her. Yeah, I want to define the leg a little more, just so it doesn't look perfect, but it's hard to show a lot of what's going on with the legs with the dress, but gives you kind of an idea. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. And if there's anything else you guys would like me to show you how to draw, or kind of give you some tips on, just let me know, okay? Alright, so I'll see you next time on Half Dudes Tutorials. Bye bye!